I thought, this was the first game that I've honestly thought, and I've the entire year I've thought Tom Brady isn't going out like this, right?
Yep.
He's going to go find a new job with a better setup and finish the right way. But last night was the first game that I was watching and thinking maybe he's done.
Well, all it was let's get the running backs out into the flat and let me throw it to them as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, and they don't have speed to separate. They're down another tackle. It looks like hell on earth for Brady. And maybe the worst part is they have to keep going. It's not like they're out of it. Any other year they might be out of this thing, but they've got to keep going. And maybe you get Brady and Rodgers in the playoffs. Christmas is over, guys. We're on to New Year's.
We did it.
We did it. What'd you guys get?
Oh, some sleep.
Yeah,
Really?
sleep was good.
A couple of canceled flights, but I got to see my wife and kid. We got to open some presents.
You had to drive up to New York, huh?
Drove to New York.
The bomb cyclone got you.
And I felt like really I made the right investment because so many of my colleagues were like, well, I'm still at the airport. It's like 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve. And
It's always better to
pulling
drive.
in.
When your flight's up in the air and you have time, it's always better to drive. Meg, did you get anything?
Yeah, and nothing's coming to me at the moment. It was crystallized this year that it really is about the kids.
Yeah.
It's a holiday for the kids.
Yep.
And actually, our family was like, maybe this year we chill on the adult gift giving.
Which is nice.
Oh, best thing
Fine by
I've
me.
ever heard. Yeah, that was terrific.
I'm a big Secret Santa guy. It really keeps the boundaries.
It does.
It keeps it from, whoa, you didn't have to do all that.
Well, kind of a code
now
break.
I feel like I have to do.
Mom and Dad, I got Secret Santa. I got Howie. I sent him some Lululemon. And Mom and Dad sent me some shit anyways.
That's how they do
and
it.
then I
They
didn't send
rule
anything to them.
breakers.
Did you send anything to them?
No, fuck
Okay, that
no.
makes me feel better.
No, I follow the rules.
Well, I wouldn't say fuck no. I thought about it, but, the rules and all. Waylon got some Nintendo Switch games that are a lot of fun. Anybody out there play Mario Strikers?
It's awesome.
It's a great game. There is something a little bit racist about the game, though.
Oh, gosh.
When Wario scores a goal, he eats a piece of garlic, and he says, "That's good."
Anti-Mediterranean slander.
No, it's Italians, my people.
Yeah.
Adnesios.
They're out there with the garlic, just pulling garlic out of his pants.
What do we
after
all
a
just
goal.
eat garlic?
Like T.O. pulling a Sharpie out of his sock.
Yep.
Hey, I'll tell you something I got a blemish.
Yeah, you got a pimple.
I got a blemish on my nose, really for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We used to come in here talking about skincare a lot.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
Get a beard. You get a beard, you don't get any more pimples.
I can't.
Dude, you used
The
to have a
pimples are
beard.
under
I got
the
a
beard,
COVID
though.
beard. COVID
Okay.
beard.
Well, also another thing is if you're thinking about something to take your young son or daughter to over the holidays, I would think twice about Puss in Boots. It's the scariest fucking movie ever.
Is it really?
Yeah, dude. My friend Kenny, shout out to Kenny. He knows he made a mistake. He was texting all the dads. We rented out a theater to watch Puss in Boots, and there's this terrifying wolf. There's scenes about death. There's scenes about it's insane, dude. It's total misfire. If you're gonna take your little kid to a movie, just maybe watch the preview before.
Is it as dark
Puss in
as
Boots.
It's a Wonderful Life?
It might be darker than It's a
Oh
It's a
my
Wonderful
God,
Life.
I'm never seeing Puss in
Yeah.
Boots.
Did Kenny read after the colon? Because it says The Last Wish,
Yeah, The Last Wish.
an adventure film.
Yeah, no. It's definitely. I felt like I was tripping on acid watching the movie, and there were some terrifying scenes.
Wow. Puss in Boots, I guess, is one person.
Yes.
Discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burnt through 8 of his 9 lives.
Yes, dude. He's down to his
Jesus
last
Puss in
life.
Christ.
Boots, which loosely translates to cat in shoes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it's not that confusing.
Yeah. If you think about it, we're all on our 9th life here as human beings.
Yeah, we were
get-
born on number
Yeah,
9.
we get one shot at
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Ah,
It's a tough
so
thing
there
to
really never
explain.
were 9.
Tough thing to explain to my kids after
Yeah.
the movie.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just a word to the wise there. I hope
Hey,
everybody.
you came back all mature. And
Yeah, I
shit,
got my
huh?
hair cut.
That's awesome,
You
man.
look great.
I started. The minute I cut my hair, I was like, "What the fuck were you doing?"
Yeah.
I just look so dirty.
Who makes that jacket? Button down.
I don't know.
It's nice.
It's a Christmas present.
It's a
I'm wearing my
handsome-
Christmas
That's a
present.
handsome jacket.
I'm wearing my Christmas presents in.
You
Kyle,
got
a haircut will do wonders. You know.
got your hair cut, or you you actually took Skizzers to.
No. I went to see Dana.
Okay.
Shout out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lori gave me a brownie.
We got,
We
we got
got those are
potentially
good brownies.
Yeah, really good brownie.
potentially another movie on the horizon
Here's a hair
too,
if you want
as
one.
well, Chris. Right?
I don't know
Which
whose
one?
that is.
We could be going to see a.
Oh, we might go see Avatar tonight. We're trying to rent a whole
Oh.
theater out to see Avatar. You want to see it with us?
No thanks.
Okay.
It'd be me and Chris.
I got
and
Colts
Kingston
Chargers.
just tripping Billies.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on the pod that will drop Wednesday. We hope. That's if we can secure a theater to ourselves tonight, because we want our own space for this.
Which is tough sledding.
Okay. All right. Let's kick this off with America's teams, shall we?
Yeah, you want me to go ahead?
Sure.
Fuck it. The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Shocker.
I'm not even going to have to explain that one. The Dallas Cowboys, they'll probably meet again. Okay, so number 2, the Salvation Army. What a team. They come together to fight all kinds of
What
fights.
are they fighting, Kyle?
They're fighting all kind of fights. They're an army, Chris, and they're everywhere. They're here to salvation us.
Yes.
Save us.
Uh-huh.
Salvation Army. And they play good music.
Nicely
outside of
put.
the
Salvation
doors.
Army is a Protestant church.
Number
Nicely put,
3,
Kyle.
Minnesota Vikings. 11 one-score wins. And you know what? It reminds me of my holiday season where it's like, man, have I done enough to get by the holiday? Oh, we won by 1 score. We got through Christmas. We got through Thanksgiving okay. And now we're on to New Year's. I think it's kind of an American theme. Just getting by.
We were talking about this earlier, Kyle. Having kids is like being the Minnesota Vikings. You're always in a 1-score game. Even when you're up, you're not up by 2 scores. You're always up by 5 to 7 points. When you're down, you could get it back.
You can't ever put your helmet down on the sideline.
You can't put your helmet down. You can't relax. It's not like a preseason game where you can grab that tin of dip that you put in your sock down in your sock and sit on the bench and watch the 4th stringers play with
The dip
with a
in the sock, Chris.
the
at
dip in the
ankle,
sock,
it's
yeah.
Like such a bad
I
move.
used to keep Uncrustables in there. I'd go in at the half and get all the snacks, and I'd be like a drug mule.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings, they're kind of a microcosm of the American way during the holiday season. And then number 4, the Rams, because I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once
you
as I
almost
ever
had it.
was.
But you know what,
Hold
though?
on.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
That was tough.
you know
good.
what, though? They are better than they've ever been this year. If you look at the points that they're scoring.
I love that line because Sean McVay was going to try his little butt off,
Yep.
trying to make Baker work.
And then the
Yep.
last one, I
It was
couldn't
right there
come
in
up
front
with
of
the
us.
right words here either. It seems to be a theme, but the Department of Energy. Thank you. Okay? The Department
Just
of Energy.
sucking off utility
There was a lot of
companies.
people with this awful winter weather the last week that were really struggling, that were left without heat, without power.
Yes.
And I know how hard these people were fighting during the holiday season to make people as comfortable as they can. So thank you, and welcome to the America's team list.
Hey, it was Christmas Eve, and I was pulling out of my in-laws. I think you saw my in-laws.
I did.
The HVAC truck was coming up the road.
Yeah.
At about 10 p.m., that's just
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, you
10
know,
p.m.
You were like, roll on highway,
Roll on,
along.
Department of Energy, man, I'm getting cold. Not too bad.
You're up.
Oh, sure, okay. The Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Ever heard of them?
Yep.
Fuck.
320 to 45 on the ground.
Yeah.
Deontay, Chuba, Steve Wilkes assaulted with a handshake after the game.
A little aggressive for me.
Hey,
I didn't see the handshake.
Oh, it was aggressive. We should pull it up.
Pull that handshake up for
It's a
me.
little much.
That was an absolute ass kicking.
You
That's
know
a
what?
fucking great job.
You know what, though? Wilkes had to be like, yeah, you had to feel good about that. When somebody
Except-
enthusiastically thanks you for kicking, you know, Campbell's like, thank you for exposing these fucking pansies.
It was so
Steve.
aggressive, though. I would have been like, he's serious, right?
No,
He's not
well,
mad,
without
he's
the
serious?
sound and without the context, you don't know. But if you know who Dan Campbell is, you know he's going to congratulate you for kicking his ass.
Yeah.
He's so real.
Yep. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, my God.
Oh, are we running through
Yeah,
the list here?
it's okay. I got an extra.
5-2 in their last 7. I like this little group of skill players: Pickens, Freiermuth, Harris, Johnson,
Pickett.
and Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Hey, give me Kenny Pickett over that Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Welcome home.
And let us be the last to say rest in peace to Frank.
I remember
Harris.
during the Baltimore game in the first half, the
right past
Dolphins,
that touching tribute.
and you had You texted me. You're like, man, this guy stinks. Like, I'm coming around on this.
Yeah.
And then there was the month long of just scorched earth against the Little Giants and the like. And you were kind of like ready to troll me. And now you're back home. Welcome home.
That guy's terrible. I mean, that guy.
Turn the ball over.
I just
the guys are wide open.
I cannot believe I had to listen to this bullshit for so long. And here, hey, there was a Tua apology for him. I was on there. My face was on there. They misquoted me.
I mean, they got to start over. They got to find a quarterback.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Trade that guy.
Baker
Lamar
Mayfield.
Jackson. My dream of Lamar Jackson coming home is not dead.
By the way,
it's very much alive.
We made such a big deal out of Buffalo and Miami playing in 28 degrees, maybe just because it was Miami. But 28 degrees is
It's
nothing.
not that
It's
bad.
nice.
It's 16 outside right now.
Yes.
I mean, 28
I
degrees.
took the trash out in shorts yesterday.
Yeah.
No problem.
28 degrees.
exactly. I
No
didn't wear
problem.
shorts, but-
Yeah.
Third one. Another one people love to hate, I think, the Green Bay Packers.
Awesome.
They got 2 at home in division to get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's kind of like, all right, these
So relax,
upstart
everybody.
Aaron Rodgers led Packers. Let's get them into the playoffs. Give the playoffs a little bit of credibility with all these stank teams with
Little juice. 17
games and 7 playoff
Because it's the
spots.
Packers or who? Like, we're looking at the Lions, the
Commanders.
They don't definitely get in with 2 wins. They need either the Giants or the Commanders.
Don't let
to mess
A-Rod
up
hang
in
around,
some way.
though.
But
So just lose one game.
Uh,
Commanders and Giants both have to lose one game.
Commanders would need to lose 1. Giants would have to lose 2.
Ooh, and the Giants play this weekend. Do we know?
The Giants have the
The
Colts and the
then
Eagles.
at Eagles, but Eagles
I
might
mean,
be resting everybody.
Anything is possible.
The Giants are sitting really pretty right now.
Yeah,
they
just
just
beat
need
the
one
Colts.
win.
Winning in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But here's the two Green Bay playoff scores if they get in. You ready?
Yeah,
Packers 24, Vikings 23. All right, that's just gonna.
yeah.
Oh, the Vikings. Can you believe it? 14-3, and you lose to Aaron Rodgers,
They're going to.
his worst team in 15
Yeah.
years, and then it would be Philly 41, Green Bay 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Don't you think that's how it goes?
Well, I think the first matchup, there's enough to build some confidence for the Packers,
Yeah.
and the safety situation for the Eagles is up in the air.
My fourth America's team is the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets are 21-11. They're first in the Western Conference. NBA begins at Christmas, yeah. Maybe not until the Super Bowl is over. This is a fun team. Nikola Jokic, he went 41, 15, and 12 or something
Is Jokic
like that.
the big guy?
He's
Yes.
the big
I
guy.
like him.
Yes.
He looks like a giant baby. Like he's just fucking people up.
83 career
He
triple
can't
doubles.
jump. You could put a sheet of paper under his shoes. He couldn't clear it,
But just balls.
but he's like an MVP.
Hey, they
And he
beat
also
the-
he could also have you disposed of too. Have you seen his brothers?
I love those guys.
Yeah, you got no choice.
He went for 41, 15, and 15 last night. That's the fourth 40, 15, 15 game in NBA history. Other two, James Harden and Oscar Robertson twice.
There you go.
They're a fun team.
So there's no catch here. You're just putting an NBA team on America's team.
Well, it's Christmas.
Yeah,
It
you're
started,
right.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And not a lot of these teams are a
support
whole
it.
lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, Kingston
Thank you.
supports it.
And finally, since this will happen on a Saturday, and we won't have another opportunity to get to America's teams, you know I'm a Michigan man. The Texas Sister Christian Horned Frogs are one of my America's teams. Founded in 1873, Kyle.
Motorhead.
There you go. They got about a $2.5 billion endowment. It started off as the Ad Ran male and female
How do
college.
we get one of those $2.5 billion endowments here in Charlottesville?
Mega church.
Put
We
it
just
in
got to say
Texas.
that we're Virginia Christian University.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We breaking news: the University of Virginia is now VCU. There's an art school in Richmond that is no longer VCU.
They'll understand. Our endowment,
It's for God.
it looks like our endowment as of October 21 was
Name, image, and
14.5
likeness.
billion.
We made our
14
program in the name, image, and
14.5
likeness of God.
That's a lot.
Chris.
Huh?
But I'll ask you this: what is an endowment?
Endowment just means it's like the collective bargaining agreement. It gives you all this money to spend on different
I don't
departments.
think you can spend it. I think you just grow it. I think endowments you just grow and you don't spend.
You
So
just
it's
talk
like a
about 'em.
bond. It's like a bond.
They
not
prop up
stocks,
the other
but bonds.
fundraising.
Right.
Oh, they got a big endowment.
We got a big endowment, but we also have an annual fund, and you're going to need to pay your tuition. So at any rate, TCU, only the 128th ranked English department in the country. But wait, the anesthesiology department of the nursing school,
Uh-huh.
number 29 in the country.
Wow.
TCU.
Yeah. Nurses of America.
I like Michigan, but it'd be fun if TCU were
Crazy
playing
how much
for
better
national
they are at
title.
knocking people out than they are at reading, and how many people are actually still better at
That's a
knocking
football
people
school
out.
for you.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a football school for you.
Go. Fucking get 'em.
Uh-huh.
Well, and shout
Somebody
out
check
to
on the Bama anesthesiology department.
Nodak State and Sodak State. We'll have time to get to that because they take a month off between the semis and the finals. But the Jackrabbits and the Bison are going to be playing for the national title.
Nice.
Really, the Dakota Bowl.
I'll be tuning
In
in.
Frisco, Texas on January the 8th.
Okay.
Let them play in the Nodak.
My America's teams, flu survivors of America.
Yes. Yes.
You guys
As we,
We can touch each other, you know.
hey, man, that thing was no joke.
Oh man, let me tell you,
Sunday
that shit changed
night,
my life. I'm a changed man. I don't know if you noticed this. Got a haircut. I don't smoke as much marijuana.
You're going to
I
bed
tried
earlier.
to smoke a cone last night. I thought I had COVID. I couldn't stop coughing. It's not something I do anymore. You know,
And you go to bed early.
I go to bed early.
Way to go.
Yeah,
You don't bet Bucks money lines.
I did bet Bucks.
Okay,
Like they
all
were
right.
the 3 teasers.
I,
Live under.
Shout out to Tamiflu. I know you didn't have that luxury.
No, I didn't.
It knocked it out a little quicker for me, but boy, I couldn't walk 10 feet without taking a break.
Man, listen, I'm glad we're past that, okay?
Yeah.
Flu survivors of America, if you're out there struggling with it, you're not alone. Tony Romo and Jim Nance, they had to call the Broncos-Rams game on Christmas Day.
Ugly
Good
Christmas
point.
sweaters.
Imagine rising to the top of your profession, and they're like, you're going to be, well, at least it's in L.A., you know, so they get to go out to eat afterwards or whatever.
Right.
But, yeah, you're away from your family because of the Broncos and the Rams. Come on. NFL players braving sub-zero temps for our entertainment.
During the holiday.
True gladiators. They're out there shirtless.
Almost as
Before the
brave as
game.
Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Yeah, a Christmas movie.
What'd y'all do pregame? Did y'all do those try-hard
Fuck
things?
no.
No, we
Shirt off?
didn't. But I just went out there and I didn't wear sleeves. TJ Watt had sleeves on. By the way, Josh McDaniels, he's a headband guy. 70% or something of your heat escapes through your dome.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
what's
tough.
he needs to talk to his sports science department. He's out there in a fucking headband. Put a
Losing-
hat on,
Losing
Josh.
all of his bandwidth.
Has he ever worn a hat? Because he's
But
an advisor guy.
that's a big decision to make. I mean, it's below zero out there. It looks like you're playing in a beer fridge.
That is weird that he never covers the top of his
Yeah.
head.
Even Nagy went visor to beanie.
Njoku was out there shirtless. It was 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It was the coldest game in Cleveland Browns history. Njoku's like, I'm from New Jersey. I'm like, what? It's actually colder here. That's what he said. He's like, I'm from New Jersey. This is no problem. I'm like, let me
Okay.
check the forecast in New Jersey. Nope, colder here. But hats off. I mean, literally hats off to David Njoku because he didn't even wear a fucking hat. He was letting all the heat escape. Guys look great too, by the way. All the fucking the Seahawks skill guys out there just shredded, dude.
And who was the one
strength
guy? Is that
coach?
their strength coach?
The strength coach is
Yes.
out there shredded. Good for him.
That's my STL Memorial Award.
That
The
guy.
strength coach for
Yep.
the Seahawks.
Yep.
Because even if they won or lost, you and I are talking about how shredded.
Yeah,
that
he was
guys are.
he was out there looking like Mario Lopez.
Yes.
If extra were outside in sub-zero temperatures, you know when you get to check into the hotel and Mario Lopez is just screaming at you, can't find the remote. Extra, extra. You guys don't know what that's like.
Yeah,
do
in
you?
the
Oh,
hotel.
well,
Yeah.
Well, flip it up to the Superstation.
Channel
You
Zero.
might have Saved by the Bell reruns. AC Slater.
I never got into that one.
Spot.
I'll try it after Seinfeld. Okay, personal trainers. Okay, it's New Year's resolution time.
Yeah.
So all you guys can roll your eyes as
Very
you
good,
listen to
Chris.
your new clientele that are going to last 10 days.
Very good.
All the things that they intend to do in 2023. You're not going to do it. Steelers and the Panthers rounding this thing out. Steelers, Franco Harris week. Obviously, that was tough, man. You know, like it's one of those things in sports. You're like, this is not scripted. The guy actually passed away the week we're going to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the play that he's so closely associated with against the team that you made it against. And it was beautiful. I'm going to give my Bevel Conway out right now.
Yes, sir.
To Steelers and Raiders.
Co-sign.
Like I said, playing in a beer fridge, you had that layer of like ice silt that was just kind of like blowing on the it looked like the grass was concrete. There was one time, ice dew, whatever it is. There was one time Minka Fitzpatrick ran out of the back of the end zone and he just fucking fell down because it was just solid ice behind the end zone. That was a beautiful game. The Steelers, they're not going to go sub 500. Mike Tomlin's gonna keep that train moving. Yeah. And then the Carolina Panthers, and they were flexed, by the way, to the
Sunday night
spot at Baltimore. Carolina Panthers running the ball like the armed forces.
Yes.
You got discarded Steve Wilkes. You got discarded Sam Darnold. By the way, the Jets fans Thursday night, that was terrible. I mean, that put the nail in the coffin of Zach Wilson, although they're not saying that outright. I kind of wondered if Jets fans were watching Saturday and thinking, do we miss Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
This version of Sam Darnold is good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he's propped up by a running game that had a run for more first half yards than any team in years. It was like 240 yards or whatever it was. But it's hard not to like the Panthers, and you're sitting there watching, and you're saying, this is the best team. Trust your eyes. This is the best team in the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Dallas, you'd rather play Tampa?
If you're Dallas, you'd probably rather play Tampa. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking about that week 1 game that your offense really struggled against that defense. And as you watch Tampa, even last night, I can't help but be impressed by their defense. These guys play hard. There were a lot of reasons to last night, and we can talk about this game, but there's a lot of reasons to kind of get frustrated and get mad at Tom Brady or the lack of chemistry between him and Mike Evans, the picks, just not being able to move the ball with regularity on the fucking the Cardinals. They got J.J. Watt out there looking like prime J.J. Watt. By the way, that's the power of how inept the Arizona Cardinals franchise is right now. That J.J. Watt probably got snubbed for a Pro Bowl. How does that happen? He's the guy that doesn't get snubbed for the Pro Bowl. It happens the other way. He had 8.5 sacks this year, at least coming in this game. He was all over the field. Chris Collinsworth did not know how to talk about J.J. Watt's young son. Did you notice that? He was like, JJ's young son is watching, I guess.
I missed that part.
2.5 months old. So I guess Chris makes a good point. He's not really watching.
Yeah.
He didn't know the kid's name. He's like, that was for you,
JJ's
young
kid.
son.
JJ.
JJ Jr.
Chris was struggling through that. But I thought, this was the first game that I've honestly thought, and I've the entire year I've thought Tom Brady isn't going out like this, right?
Yep.
He's going to go find a new job with a better setup and finish the right way. But last night was the first game that I was watching and thinking maybe he's done.
Well, all it was let's get the running backs out into the flat and let me throw it to them as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, and they don't have speed to separate. They're down another tackle. It looks like hell on earth for Brady. And maybe the worst part is they have to keep going. It's not like they're out of it. Any other year they might be out of this thing, but they've got to keep going. And maybe you get Brady and Rodgers in the playoffs. I don't know, but it was pretty depressing watching them go to commercial playing Mr. Grinch after every Brady interception last night. Trace McSorley and his huge hairless dad. Did you see him?
Yeah, I saw
God, the
him.
guy's got a fucking jaw structure, doesn't he?
Yes, yes, he does.
I want to see him.
Trace McSorley's dad.
Thank you, and thank you for your service,
guys.
Mr. McSorley.
He's a serviceman.
wow.
Yeah.
His testosterone is through the roof.
Yeah, and yet looked like a nice man.
Oh, he looks like a great guy.
The gentle, chiseled,
Virile. Is that the word? Virile?
virile man.
Virile? Yeah. Yeah.
Chris. So I remember one good Brady throw. It was the one to Evans in overtime. A corner route might be strong for. There he is. There's Mr. McSorley.
Dog, look at his face structure.
That's the white David Goggins.
Yes.
Just ready to come.
Oh, he looks a little
everybody.
like Cheryl Hines. Larry's wife and Kurt.
I know who Cheryl
Hey,
Hines
prove
is.
your horniness.
Well, Cheryl Hines appreciate her,
Funny.
but don't ruin Cheryl Hines.
Do you remember that one throw to Evans where it was like,
Yes.
all right, you had to
Right sideline.
Yes. There was a window.
Yep.
You had to fit it in.
Yep.
And you did, but everything else was
Just
to
looked like
White and
he was
Fournette.
thinking. Every time him and Evans try to connect, it looks like there's this mental block. And Collinsworth talked about it. There was a play where if he just lets that ball go and trusts that Evans is going to be open earlier in the game, that's an easy completion. And it's something that Brady does, in his sleep. But right now there's something that's blocked. I don't know if it's the muscle memory of things going wrong this year. I don't know if it's the fact that he's anticipating getting hit. But this is the first time I felt like, hey, maybe this is it for Brady. So.
Well, everything else was to Godwin engage within a yard or two of the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And I mean, what's he looking at on that surface? Because he's staring through it every single second he's on the sideline when he's not yelling at offensive linemen. And I think that left tackle Walton actually held up decently. He was getting a lot of heat from the broadcast crew, but it was all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are only so many. All you're doing is checking down. Like, what are you looking for?
I don't know what he's looking at. Maybe he's got that thing. He's got the jailbreak Instagram on there. He's checking out his new GF.
And Byron's always sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is just muttering into his headset.
Todd Bowles, man.
And there's some good players on that defense. Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Marco Wilson was all over the place. You mentioned
J.J. Watt, yep.
But golly,
let's not mention Buda Baker.
Chris, I don't know Buda Baker. I don't think the answers are in that Microsoft Surface.
No, I don't think they are.
Just chuck it downfield if you want to do something differently.
They're their best when they have to score at the end of games.
Yes,
as are a lot of teams. But this is, and I know that you want to play complimentary football and whatnot, but you're not going to be able to keep up with people if you slide in the playoffs. Hell, you might not be able to keep up with the Carolina Panthers this week.
Bro,
one of America's teams.
That is one game. If it is Dallas at Tampa Bay to start the playoffs.
Can we talk about the Broncos real quick, Reed?
Certainly.
Yeah, you love that.
Real quickly.
Yeah.
We don't need to spend much time here.
Yeah, Russell,
As is their
more
whole
picks.
season.
There's drama on the sideline.
Yep,
You've got
Rippin trying to defend him, and
but Faniel looks like a different guy with heavy mustache, heavy goatee.
Yeah,
he almost
looks cool.
He's
he
seen
can pass
some
off
shit.
as Rich Eisen's brother, right?
Rich Eisen's brother. Okay.
I can't see that.
Maybe.
Well, I'd have to see a picture.
Yeah. This is like a Cheryl Hines situation.
So here's what I'm wondering in this game. I don't want to take time. I don't want to beat the Broncos up here, but it looks like shit is absolutely hitting the fan on the sidelines.
Every bald white guy looking like to read.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just no Rich Eisen.
Yeah, he looks like he looks more like the FIFA guy that got Salt Bay on the sideline.
Yeah.
Honestly, he does look like the FIFA guy, Nathaniel Hackett, a little bit. Who's the FIFA guy? The villain, Gianni Infantino, which loosely translates to giant baby. Today I feel a Muslim. Today I feel a migrant worker.
Today I feel a Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Today I feel a Nathaniel Hackett. Here's my question. Have you seen enough from Baker Mayfield to pique your interest? Especially with the situation you have, you can't acquire, draft picks. You can't give up a bunch of. Now, I still think they could trade Ramsey or Donald and recoup some picks and that sort of thing. But Baker Mayfield is running the fuck out of this offense. And I kind of wonder if this Higbee-Mayfield thing, if it's going to be a long-term marriage or one of these summer flings, where Higbee's like, I remember that. I had this really hot, crazy chick that just showed up in town.
Halfway through the semester.
41 balls. Yeah, right, exactly. And now I got to go back to Matt Stafford, who's got grays in his beard. I don't know what's going to happen next year. Call me a sucker. Tell me I'm jumping out of the gym. But I kind of feel like Sean McVay might be able to make a little something out of Baker Mayfield, especially considering the circumstance where you don't have a lot of options. And I don't think Matt Stafford's a sure thing going into next season.
Just based on the interactions that I was seeing.
Am I talking myself into Baker?
Chris,
Reed?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Just based off the interactions I saw with Sean McVay and Baker Mayfield on the sideline, walking in and out from the kitchen to the game. I didn't watch the entirety of the game, but I see the score. I see that the vibes are good. It just seems to me like it should work. And if McVay doesn't find anything that he hates about him like he did with Jared Goff, then it could be a marriage that lasts.
Well, we might be getting out in front of ourselves here, and maybe the Broncos just quit defensively, but they did a really good job. I mean, he hit some nice throws. He ran the offense. The huge mistakes weren't there that I saw. So
And Cam Akers.
Cam Akers is
for 3 touchdowns.
playing
9
himself
weeks
into.
ago, he was dead in the water.
Hey, what was that? Fox? CBS? What was that? CBS.
CBS because
Tony.
Nance
They put- yeah. They put-
and Tony fell on that grenade, and they kept being like, "This is I don't know. This could be a game."
They put that.
Here they come, 41-16.
First letter of first name and then last name when somebody scores a touchdown. So I was reading Cakers a lot, which is a cool little.
That
name.
is-
and then Figby, like kind of like a little.
That is
like,
some phenomenon.
isn't that cool?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just sitting there looking at letters.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
crazy.
And reading them.
Uh-huh.
Baker, we're 4 calendar years removed from him being the number 1 overall pick. I mean, maybe it's in there, but to your point, this is literally the beginning of a relationship where everybody tries their hardest.
Where everybody tries their hardest, and yeah, I mean, like, it's easy to jump out of the gym right now, and I'll do it a little bit. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much am I jumping out of the gym? Like a 6.5.
Yep.
Like, let's see what the offense holds the next couple weeks, and going to the offseason, all I'm saying is consider it, Sean.
It carries great weight with a roster of how you finish a season with a quarterback. Like, if it's not your normal guy, like if you finish hot, that's going to be the vibe going into the spring.
Yep. And I know this isn't a popular take online because everybody, we get it. First round pick quarterbacks, they get a million chances. Baker, has been insufferable at times, so some people don't like Baker. The Odell thing, Carolina didn't work. Got run out of Cleveland, but maybe, just maybe, Sean McVay's a pretty good coach. I don't know. And that was the one thing that everybody should have taken into account yesterday before possibly betting the Broncos is the coaches. That just showed up. I think McVay can take some shit sometimes, but he's a Super Bowl winning head football coach.
I just want to know
Been
how
there
the
twice.
Broncos give up so many sacks.
Oh.
I just want to know how.
Well, that's another thing is Russell Wilson no longer makes magic. And I don't see that changing. Even if the offense, even if they get this thing down and they improve next year, when we used to play Russ would take off out of the back of the pocket, and sometimes you get him, but sometimes it would go for 40. You'd find, somebody in man coverage and throw the ball up, and every time he turns his back to the rush, it ends in a sack now. And I've just lost a little bit of a step. He's not as athletic as he once was, and the guy's talking about he wants to play into his 40s.
I need John Brink of sports science to break down the acceleration and
Yeah.
speed.
He self-sacks like he's
Self-sack.
Matt Ryan
Yep.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Broncos are like the second most injured team in the league. We've had injuries all along the front, and our wide receiver core has been injured all year. But also, Russell, help yourself. There were multiple instances when we could have had a 6-yard pass for a first down. Instead, he's firing the ball incomplete 20 yards down the field when he's bailing a pocket. You saw Cortland Sutton just freaking out at the first down marker while Russell zings a ball over his head to Dolchich.
Yeah, that's not great.
So real quick here, because I want to mention the Niners beating the Commies. The main thing from this game is there's 2 things. One, we had a Carson Wentz sighting. I thought Rivera was fucking bluffing, but we did see Carson Wentz. It's all gone downhill for Taylor Heineke since he didn't know who the Allman Brothers were.
Do you think Taylor's play
What's going
was-
on there?
Do you think it
Tied
was
to the
worthy of
whipping
a
post.
benching?
I don't know, Reed. Unfortunately, I think the team's ceiling is the team's ceiling.
Right.
And, no matter who's playing quarterback, I think they're a nice story, but they're not a contender.
Right.
And so I'm not really sure what he's doing there, benching Taylor Heineke, but it's hard to argue because their offense hasn't taken that next step. Here's what the point I want to make, and their playoff chances are, if they win out,
they control their own destiny. So if they win the next 2 games they're in,
Cleveland and Dallas, and Dallas is going to be playing hard.
We think.
maybe not.
Maybe not. Not if the Eagles. Well,
It depends on what happens
NFC
this
East
week.
is still up for grabs.
the NFC East is up for grabs. Dallas is toe to toe with a couple other NFC teams, though. Depending on who's going to get the home. Who's going to get the home game if Minnesota plays Dallas? Who's going to get the home game if San Francisco plays Dallas? Isn't that the case? That's still in flux.
I think Dallas is locked into the 5.
Are they locked into the 5 no matter what?
Which
If they don't win the division,
Yeah.
which is very unlikely at this point. So there's a good chance Dallas will be resting players on
Yeah.
week 18.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Commanders could sneak in, but I just don't. I don't see their ceiling being that of a contending team. Here's what I want to say. Nick Bosa solidified his DPOY argument. The Dallas Cowboys played Saturday. We'll get into that game in a second. They had no sacks, no hits. Micah Parsons is a great player, but I got into it with a couple fans last week of the Cowboys when I said that this is Nick Bosa's race to lose after that Seattle game. The reason I say that is because he just wins so many one-on-ones, and that's what this thing's about. Are you winning rushes? Are you affecting ball games? And Nick Bosa affects ball games in a bunch of different ways. I know that Micah Parsons is probably more versatile, but there's also things that Nick Bosa can do that Micah Parsons can't do. And he had 2 sacks. He's up to 17.5. He had a 4th down stop. This guy's going to challenge Alden Smith for the San Francisco 49ers sack record. I believe it's 19.5. And just a second to pause to talk about Alden Smith. When he was in his prime,
Oh my God,
he was one of the best rushers I have ever seen. And I know that sometimes people took something away from him because of Justin Smith. They had the Smith brothers, and a lot of times, he might get free on a grab game because Justin Smith used to put his big gloveless paws.
Justin Smith have a small tattoo,
tiny Anheuser-Busch tattoo,
yeah.
which is you got to worry about a guy when he's got a tiny.
I'm sorry, Reed. That's the original cowboy, by the way.
Yes, that he's a total cowboy. But yeah, Alden Smith was amazing, and now Bosa. San Francisco plays. Who do they play this week? He's going to have an opportunity to make a run.
And with
at that.
Armstead back, it's like he's even more dangerous.
Yep. Well, they got the Raiders. Okay, there's and then the Cardinals. He's got an opportunity to break that record.
He's going to get 22 sacks.
He could end up with 20 sacks this season. And I think the headline there is Bosa secures the DPOY is what I saw on ESPN, and I think they're right. So preemptive congratulations to him.
To your point about how valuable he is, even when he's not getting, and he is getting home, obviously, it was 18 times or whatever. When he's not getting home, he's still affecting the play. He's denting the pocket. He's forcing the wins from other guys on the line. And also, he just has that mental hurdle you have to leap over every play as an offensive lineman when playing against him.
And the bottom line is this. They have the best defense in football right now. And this weekend solidified it because the Cowboys had a chance to take care of business, and they did. They won the game, but they give up 34 points to the Eagles, who've got a backup quarterback. I mean, Minshew's a heck of a backup, but he's a backup. If you want to be talked about like one of those defenses, you can't leave things to chance. I know they were the benefactors of 4 turnovers. Talking about that game, I thought Dak played magnificently, especially after that pick six. I mean, that pick six was bad. Josh Sweat is a freak show. He shouldn't throw that ball. But, 24 of 24 against zone coverage. And I kind of wonder if Gannon, in the spirit of kind of what we talked about, is like you're going to see these guys again, change the way you play these guys a little bit and save something in the hopper for round 3. He ran a lot of zone, and Dak picked them apart. I thought, early in the game when they went down 10-0, the pressure was so high on Dak from a football standpoint, getting back in that football game, but also from a, I hate to do this and use the L word, but a legacy standpoint. He lives in a first-take world. You play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Gardner Minshew comes to town, and you spot these guys 10 points. In fact, they were down 10 twice to these guys, and Dak early hurt them with his legs. There was a 3rd and 5 early in this ballgame where Avonte Maddox has him dead to rights in the backfield, came on a blitz. Dak escapes, pirouettes, and converts a first down. And that was just an enormous play in this game because you can't go down 3 scores. And I thought what he did early and what he did late to put them in position to win this ball game was tremendous.
It never feels like that team's out of it. Watching that game, it's wow, this Eagles team is really good. They're up 2 scores already, and then it's wow, the Cowboys are really good. I don't think it's enough for the Eagles. And then as the game moves on, what did it finish? 40-34.
40-34.
Like that's a lot of fucking scoring, man.
Yeah.
And to your point, those defenses, neither of which really impressed me in big moments. It's 1 or 2 stops for each side, and it could be lopsided either way.
Well, and there's a couple things here on the injury front. The Eagles have been very healthy all season long.
Yes.
But now you're waiting on news on the Lane Johnson injury, which is huge.
Massive.
Driscoll got bowled back into Minshew on the last play of the game. That's an important spot. He's quite possibly your best offensive player. I mean, when you look at it, you just look at like Madden ratings. He's been, one of the best players in the league the last 5-7 years, and he's so important to what they do. You can just forget about that side of the line, right? And now you actually have to account for the left end way more than you did before he got hurt. So you got to worry about that. And then Avonte Maddox, who was out in the second quarter, was a huge injury, and it could be an even bigger injury down the stretch if it's something that I don't know what they're saying about the Maddox injury, but it was big in this game. He's one of the best nickels in the league. Scott, the guy that came in for him, really struggled. He struggled on that 3rd and 30. Slay was really pissed off at him. That 3rd and 30, they're in some variation of cover 2 and Slay's in a trail tech, and the safety's just really late coming over. He's in the middle of the field, and, there's no excuse there, and that's T.Y. Hilton's big first big play. I think it was his first reception.
Pretty cool to see him on the Cowboys.
Yeah, you know what? It's good for T.Y. Hilton getting an opportunity. He's always been a clutch, underrated player.
Underappreciated.
But that was a backbreaker right there. And, to have the safety play that you've had when you're at your best with Maddox as your nickel, with Gardner Johnson back there, and to see the drop-off when the other guys come in. I mean, Scott really struggled with Lamb. He had over 100 yards in the first half.
He's a fucking beast.
10
Lamb's
catches,
a beast.
11 targets.
He is a beast.
So that's what you got to worry about if you're the Eagles. It's the safety position. It's Lane. If you're the Eagles, you come away from this game and you say, all right, we're good. We don't have to worry about rushing Jalen back. I think we can steal a win against New Orleans with Minshew. The offense operates really nicely with Minshew in there, but Dallas also kind of did the Minnesota game plan. When Minnesota played Philly in primetime, they played off coverage a lot, and Minshew hurt them in the intermediate areas of the defense. Now, there was no quarterback run game you have to account for. I don't think this is one of those things where you just purely look at it from a point scored standpoint and say, oh, the Eagles' offense is no different. Eagles' offense is different. And those turnovers, they're not all on Minshew, but, the picks, they're 50-50 balls. Quez Watkins is persona non grata right now in Philly. And he also kind of lost them the Washington game with that fumble after that big reception. So, the turnovers is what killed him. 4 of them, Dallas' defense came up with them. Eagles' defense didn't come up with them. Dallas fell on their fumbles. If I'm the Eagles, I feel pretty good about playing these guys the third time.
One thing that changes significantly about the Eagles' attack, particularly the run-pass option with Jalen Hurts or whoever it is at quarterback, with Lane Johnson out on the right side, you're no longer going to be able to fake that inside zone to the right because Lane Johnson is the spearhead that gets you off the line of scrimmage and clears 2 or 3 yards. If you do want to hand it, now you're going to have to scheme up the front side. You're going to have to put more tight ends. You're going to have to maybe put an extra O-lineman over there if you want to run to that side. It was a gimme in the pass with one-on-one protection with Lane Johnson. He's going to shut anybody off as well as the run. But it's underappreciated how significant it is having Lane Johnson out on the front side of that run game.
No question.
Hell of a cover by the Cowboys, too. Whew. Which gave us enough money to lose on the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic.
Ooh, who was in that one?
Oh, everybody. There are about 8 basketball teams.
Oh, I thought it was
it's
a
a basketball thing.
Couldn't get it on the right side, any of them. But that line kept climbing with the news that Hurts was going out.
But it settled at 4, and that's why I think it was dicey if you bet the Cowboys.
Does this help or hurt Jalen's MVP chances? Do you think?
Honestly, I think it's Patrick Mahomes' to lose. You watch him making plays like he made yesterday, stretching that football out at the pylon. He just makes those.
He's playing for an MVP now.
He makes those wow plays, and they have so little to work with compared to Philly. I think Jalen's been sensational, and had he stayed healthy, he had to be perfect to probably win the MVP race. He had to stay healthy. They probably had to win out. He had to be rock solid.
But logically, if they drop another, they can't win a football game without this guy?
Yeah, well, they didn't lose it because
they
of their
didn't
offense.
lose it because of Gardner.
The turnovers hurt, but
he looked good.
I think if Gardner Minshew had come out and they'd have scored 14 points on the road and looked kind of out of sync, then maybe you'd be talking. But I really do think when you look at this award, I tend to give it to somebody who adds a lot of value. And I know Jalen adds a ton of value. I've argued for that value. I've argued for the value he adds with his legs, his leadership, the throws he's made, the big throws he's made. He's done everything right. But, if it's close, you give it to the guy that's not working with as much, especially a guy who's got a bigger profile and has proved it over more years. And I think Patrick Mahomes is probably in the driver's seat right now. But again, we get into this thing and we're cutting hairs here, talking about who's the most valuable player in the league. We're not throwing shade at Josh Allen. We're not throwing shade at Joe Burrow. We're not throwing shade at Jalen Hurts. But all these guys are in the conversation. I just think Patrick Mahomes is the guy that if he finishes strong and they secure that home field advantage and the road runs through Arrowhead,
Oh, boy.
it's probably his to lose.
We can go out and watch some of those games.
Yeah. I enjoyed I really enjoyed my trip up there to watch
Kansas City's
you guys
great.
beat the Bills. I mean, it's such an old school stadium. It's just everything about it. I feel like it was the 90s.
Yeah, you pull into this giant, massive sports complex. The Royals baseball stadium's right there. Arrowhead's right there. It's one shared giant parking lot. People are there all day, ready to go. And then the sea of red, man. It's like amazing.
That's crazy.
Patrick scores.
Y'all got heaters up there too.
Oh, it's
it was
fucking
nice.
tits.
Yeah.
They're
Fucking
four
tits.
I think
letters.
Justin Jefferson should be top 3 for MVP.
Justin,
You're right about
yeah,
that.
So talk about that game.
I'd
a
be
little
remiss
bit.
if I didn't say that. I'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins came out hot as a motherfucker. TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson early and often in this game. Also, Jefferson set the single season yards record for the Vikings. 100-yard mark, 24th 100-yard game in 48 games. It's just unbelievable. He passed Randy Moss on the all-time single season or the single season mark. The Vikings were awesome as always. They won a close game, but I was really impressed with Daniel Jones all day. Like, people talk about Daniel Jones, the question marks surrounding the quarterback position in New York, and I think Daniel Jones has showed up throughout the year, but more importantly in the last few weeks, and showed people that he is going to be the guy. I firmly believe in Daniel Jones. I think that the staff is great. They've been awesome for him. And the weapons out there, Richie James, Slayton, all these guys making plays for him.
Isaiah Hodgins.
Hodgins, yes.
Hodgins. Yeah. You're like, who are these guys he's throwing the ball to? I mean, I know who these guys are, but, I thought, and they racked up 450 yards of offense, I think. I thought they looked great. It was also a testament to how – now, the Giants couldn't finish some drives, and that's what cost them, right? You had – Richie James had some big drops. You had a pick.
Graham Gano had the best game of his life.
They weren't perfect, but as I watched that game, and you're playing a 10-plus win team who wins a lot of close games on the road in a hostile environment as a whiteout. I'm not sure what the difference is between a standard.
Yeah, they cheated with the fake end zones.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to
That
deal with
was
that.
strange.
They had to deal with that. You got a white end zone with a purple border, both inbounds, and then a white sideline.
It looked like 2 different sidelines.
It was cheating.
Opposite of Bevel Conway.
It's cheating. Yeah.
So I just thought this was a spot where I learned a lot about the Giants. And, the question's going to be, is Daniel Jones the guy? I think he's done a lot to solidify a really strong case for, hey, we can build around this guy. It'd be one thing if there were a bunch of weapons out there that he wasn't hitting. But again, you name the people he's throwing the ball to. The defense isn't terribly talented. They're very disciplined. They do a lot of little things well. They've gotten a lot out of guys like Jihad Ward,
Holy War.
Yeah, he's a holy war on the edge, man. He's always setting that thing. Philly guy, shout out.
Do you remember the first quarter against Washington, the New York-Washington first quarter, where the
Yes.
Commanders were fairly dominant?
Yep.
It was just Brian Robinson,
Yep.
8 yards a clip.
Yep.
I don't know if I can't remember a single play changing the season like that Thibodeau
That was
strip
huge.
sack
It
for a
was huge.
touchdown.
It was huge. And you know what? Like we talked about him last week. I don't think he's your Bruce Smith. He's not going to light the stat sheet up with a bunch of sacks every year. But what he is a good all-around football player. And
He's
they've got
energy. He infuses energy in other players.
And, good for him because he heard a lot of shit in pre-draft that had nothing to do with football. And he's handled all that stuff. But their defense isn't terribly talented. So there's a lot you can build around if you're the Giants. And you look at the reasons you're here and the reasons you're not taking the next step. And I don't think Daniel Jones is the reason you're not taking the next step.
I agree.
Giants were up 13-10 in the third quarter. Cousins gets the ball. He hits Jefferson back-to-back on awesome throws, awesome catches. Like it almost looks too easy with Justin
Yep.
Jefferson on the field. He's open all the time.
Especially when you need it.
And then they go to Hawkinson with a huge catch on the left side. That bomb, the breadbasket throw to
Touchdown.
touchdown was
Yeah.
awesome.
Strong hands.
And then all of a sudden, you get Patrick Peterson hopping in the time machine, blitzing, making huge plays at the end of the game. Not enough. And a blocked punt. Justin Jefferson. I wrote Justin Jefferson. Wow. They elect to kick the extra point instead of going for the 2-point conversion, which was a huge point in that game. Could have taken the lead by 9. Give the Giants a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Giants come down, score, and then obviously Greg Joseph, 61 yards.
That
The
was
battle of the kickers. It
that
was
was
like Curry
absurd.
and Dame Lillard all day. It
Yep.
was like Gano,
Yep.
Joseph, Gano, Joseph.
They were great. And the Vikings, if they're given 4 points to an opponent who's halfway decent, bet the other team.
Yep.
Because they're always winning close games. We said this last week, Indy was free money. Well, it didn't look free in the second half. But the Giants were in this game the entire time. I had the Giants catching 4. This weekend, the Vikings play the Packers. And actually, let's guess a couple lines, shall we?
Yes.
I got them
Let's
right
do
here.
that
I love
before we
this
get into the
game.
Packers-Dolphins.
I'm really good in my car doing this with Simmons and Cousin Sal.
Yeah.
I'm not so good in this space, so I'm going to try to slow things down.
Yeah.
These expectations setting. Let's just
And I
It's
just want
like
to
I'm a
apologize to
rookie.
Bill Simmons for doing the same thing you do sometimes. We're going to guess what the
it's a
lines
great
are.
idea.
To put a bow on that,
Well,
though,
it's like-
Justin Jefferson should be in the MVP race, and Daniel Jones is the quarterback for the Giants. That's period.
Okay.
Well, shoot, Brock Purdy's about to win a freaking Super Bowl, so yeah, let's roll with DJ.
Yep.
All right, Vikings at Packers. Kyle, then Macon. then
Vikings
Chris.
at Packers.
Vikings at Packers.
I've
See,
got
this
Packers minus 2.5.
I was going to say Packers 2.5. Yeah.
This is the type of year. This is the time of year where you got to think about what people are playing for. So I'm thinking about Minnesota. Okay, they're not locked into the 2 probably. San Francisco can still
Yeah,
jump
not
up.
but it's
locked
also
in.
an NFC North
And there's
matchup.
later round considerations. Also.
Packers must win out. What time of day is it? What time?
4
of day?
o'clock game.
Oh,
Ooh, it's gonna be a good
dark
one.
and
Mhm.
Lambeau.
What's going on with Christian Watson?
That's a good question.
Because he had a hip yesterday.
Dobbs had
He
a
also
drop.
had a 14-point swing that turned out to be 0 points because Aaron Rodgers sailed him the football at the
Yeah.
end zone, and then he threw him a low red ball and he tripped and fell over. I'd be
Yes.
so pissed if
Yes.
he was going to be my STL memorial.
I think you guys are close, but because it's a must win for Green Bay, I'll go even higher. I'll go 3.5.
You guys all tie. It's Packers minus 3.
3.
Okay, good
Okay.
job, guys.
You
We're
want
on
to
it.
do another one here?
Does that count?
Biggest
We're on
game.
it.
Biggest game of the week is probably Dolphins at Patriots in terms of playoff consideration.
Ooh.
Dolphins
1 o'clock
minus
game.
2.
Dolphins
half.
minus 1.5.
Dolphins at the Patriots. Patriots, they're both still in.
I would bet the Pats though, man, because
Yikes.
again, not to get into the Dolphins, but they're gonna force turnovers.
Can I recuse myself on account of
Sure.
losing lots of money?
Dolphins
on
are going to run
Miami?
the fuck out of the ball.
They need to.
I cannot
And they
believe
can.
those interceptions.
It's Dolphins minus 1. By the way.
Dolphins minus 1.
Okay, so we were right on
Pick
it.
them.
What about is Jeff Wilson not healthy?
Well, he wasn't healthy, but he played this
did.
weekend. Yeah.
Okay. Because every time I looked up, it was Raheem Mostert.
Well,
running
Mostert had a
through.
great game
He
in
was
Buffalo.
awesome, except for the fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the most dynamic return man. When it's like, damn, Tua's going to turn it over, so you just need to run back the kickoff.
Well, listen, let's pause here
Uh-huh.
on this game. This was a free money situation, okay?
Yeah.
Because the Packers moved the ball on these guys, and they moved it late in the game without Christian Watson. They hit Mercedes Lewis for a big chunk, which was probably an incomplete
Couple
pass.
2013 looking balls and
Yeah,
catches
but
from Mercedes
Rodgers
Lewis.
had some nice balls. He also had some not so great balls. They just stuck with it. They hung around. There were times where the Dolphins could have put this game away, and they just didn't. Obviously, the late picks were awful. No surprise.
3 of them.
Bing, bam, boom.
Man, there was a point in the game where, I had the over, and I was like, man, the Packers are driving. They're up 23-20 at this point. They have a chance to make it 30-20. but I kind of wanted them to lay up and kick the field goal just so that the Dolphins had to be in a pressure situation so I could watch Tua throw another pick. Okay, you can tell me, Robert Griffin III, that I'm climbing out of my cave. I live in a single-family home. Thank you very much. And I'm not a Tua hater. I'm a Tua hyperbole denier.
You have eyes.
To a realist.
When you're insecure about your take and you're experiencing cognitive dissonance, anyone who disagrees with you is a hater. But all I've done is just tell the truth about what I see with my eyes on the football field. So I want to take the time to invite apologies from anyone who said I don't know ball. I want to invite apology from that young lady who was peppering all
slaughtering our mentions.
Our mentions under our posts for like a month when the Texans and the fucking Browns couldn't slow Tua down. You can just put that apology the same place you put all that craziness under our show posts.
P.O. Box 6969 Reality Avenue.
The people that made the Tua apology form that I'm featured on, you can apologize too. That fucking humanoid dolphin that told me to meet him in Temecula. I told him to meet me in Temecula.
Somebody said meet me in Temecula?
No, I was fucking with the
wine
dolphin.
Country.
But you can all apologize to me. You can all apologize to me. The only thing I was wrong about the Dolphins about maybe is that they might make the playoffs. I picked them to go to the playoffs, and you found a way to be so bad late in the year that might not be true.
Hey, the no flag on the 3rd and 15.
Also, RG3, do you know how the internet works? Fucking every 6-yard out that Tua completed over a 7-week span, you and Emmanuel Acho had a party on the timeline, and now somebody wants to point out that Tua went for the hat trick in the second half of one of the biggest games of the season.
Quarter.
Yeah.
Hat trick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys learn how the internet works, please.
Miami made their bacon middle of the season. Steelers, Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans.
Fuck, they barely made their bacon against the Steelers, man.
Steelers, Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans.
One thing we're not mentioning about this game was the amount of fourth down, go for it situations that were in this one.
Yeah.
We saw Aaron Rodgers QB sneaks. We saw Tua in 4th and 1s. We saw some really cool play calls. There was one here that was 3rd and 1. A.J. Dillon got stuffed. It was 10-20. The Packers were down 10. 3rd and 1. A.J. Dillon gets stuffed. 4th and 1. The Packers hit a play action to convert. There was tremendous action. This play was drawn up so beautifully. If you go back and watch the one that set up the 13-20 field goal by Mason Crosby, but it was a little play action, rollout action for Aaron Rodgers, and it was vintage Rodgers, seeing him get outside the pocket and make a quick strike. Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a shit what anybody says or how much ayahuasca he took or how many practices he missed. I've heard it all this year, but he's still Aaron Rodgers.
The good Aaron Rodgers, the best of Aaron Rodgers still looks like the best of Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
He hit a couple beautiful balls yesterday, and he's going to have to play his best ball over the next 2 weeks. But it does feel like they're rounding into form a little bit. The Watson injury is going to be the big one for me. See where that kind of ends up. Okay, more lines.
All right. How about Monday night's game, Buffalo at Cincinnati?
Oh.
I'm going to go
Golly.
Buffalo Bills.
Big game.
Cincy -4. And I know that that's not the line, but
Oh, so you like the Bengals?
I like the Bengals.
Buffalo at Cincy.
Bills scared me a bit against the Bears, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, we got to show up for this game. Now it's 45 to 13.
Yeah, well, they're out there chucking the ball in sub-zero temperatures.
Well, no.
Before you hit the line, just remember the Bengals lost their starting tackle for the season.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this game in a second, but let's including that loss. Give me three.
Cincy by field goal. Yeah.
Kyle?
I think it's going to be closer. I think this thing's going to be almost like a pick 'em.
Yes, that's why I said pick 'em.
But if I had to make the line, go ahead.
It's Bills -1.5.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Surprising to me.
Well, are they trying to get Johnny Public there on a 35-13 final score in Chicago? Because that was 21-13.
They might, and the Bengals struggle to escape Gillette and that sort of thing. But let me say this about Cincy, and this was the most interesting game of the weekend. First off, karma's not real, okay, in football, because Mac Jones did the scummiest all-time fucking move. You know, there have been times where he's been called dirty before, and I kind of looked the other way because I was like, I need to see it. You know,
He's
the
got a
Brian
little
Burns
Duke point
play.
guard in him. What's that guy's name?
Grayson Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And then this weekend, you know, since he's running the ball back on what was actually not even a touchdown, and he just launches himself. Was it into Bates's knees?
Like an Ndamukong Suh move.
It was worse. It was worse.
Out of the play.
feet,
This is one of the worst. I mean, I don't mean to
I
be
don't know if I want to
hyperbolic.
see it.
Kyle, he's a fucking scumbag. Look at this.
Jeez.
That's the scummiest shit that I seen all season. And you know, at some point, I'm going to be pulling for people on defense playing Mac Jones to put a little extra English on all sacks and hits.
There's no doubt if I'm in a D-line room or a linebacker room and I see this and I got Mac Jones coming up, I'm saying, boys, we're going to fuck him
Marked
up.
man.
Yeah.
Marked man.
We used to do that to linebackers who would hit us after the play.
Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Melvin Ingram. Tee off, fellas.
Well, you know Melvin Ingram's going to take some shots.
Tee off. Because this is the scummiest shit I've ever seen. But the reason
was-
karma's not real is the very next play, they get the deflection for the touchdown.
The football gods.
Yeah, football gods are like, oh, we're actually huge scumbags.
He gave a lot of money to the church.
Don't
this year.
ever talk to me about football gods again.
That was
but
20, Eli Apple. Just to,
it was Eli Apple.
yeah.
So, and one of your favorites.
God.
His mom was not happy.
So I
Evan Ingram,
karma's
my
not
God.
real. The Pats were lucky to get back in this game. Last week you lost on the laterals. This week
This was worse in my
this is
mind.
worse because you have an opportunity at home to basically kick that ball through the uprights and win the game. If they hit both their extra points earlier in that game,
Yeah.
they're not down 4, they're down 2. They're going to be kicking to win that football game. They
Dog.
also missed a 2-point conversion.
Just the last Nick Folk extra point. That's a cover. That was 3.5.
You're thinking gambling, and I know that this one hurts you.
The
Damn
big
it.
issues.
He
the
texted me
Stevenson
before the
fumble.
game. He's like, Chris, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but New England is the right side.
Yes.
And then it was
22-0.
22-0. And then he texted me, goes 22-20 New
One.
England,
22-21
22-21 New
final
England.
score.
And I laughed at him, and I turned that game off because I'm watching the other games, and I said, holy shit! But the New England has to be fucking kicking themselves here.
No pun intended.
Yeah, well, because of the extra points, but not just that. You mentioned Ramondre Stevenson with the big fumble, and Von Bell took it off him. Again, the Bengals being ball aware. They've done that all season. But Ramondre Stevenson out of the half, fumbled the first play of the half. They throw him a ball in the flat. He's running towards the sideline. He gets stripped. The ball goes out of bounds. So no harm, no foul, right?
Usually the ball doesn't touch his hands again, though.
Yeah, exactly. And
Right.
that's the thing. And the Bill I know, he doesn't see the light of day.
He's like, take a seat.
You know, and,
You know the
and
rules.
it ends up coming down to a Ramondre Stevenson fumble.
The
then
only
you get
other
the- then you
back
get
who
the
got a
2
carry
minute,
was
Chris.
Kevin Harris.
Yeah, so they were down Damian Harris.
Yeah.
He was inactive.
You get to
Damian
2
Harris is
minute-
inactive. I
What-
understand you don't have a lot of choices there, but it just sucks that, like, you know, ball security is such a big deal to them. The guy that fumbles out of the half, probably if they have a full stable of backs, doesn't see the ball again.
No.
And then, you know, in the low red at the end of the football game, but that's what the Bengals do. They play tough, sound, ball-aware defense, and they made just enough plays to win. And also, Mac Jones missed a fucking touchdown in the third quarter on a go ball. They're going to look at a lot of stuff that, you know, the Patriots are going to look at a lot of stuff at the end of the season as they miss the playoffs, most likely. I mean, I don't know what their chances are at this point, but
If they win both their games, they're in.
so they got to beat Miami and then
Doable.
and then
Yeah,
who
Miami and Buffalo.
yeah. So it's going to be tough.
Well, it depends on what Buffalo does against
Depends
Cincy.
on what Buffalo does against Cincy.
The big regret that the Patriots will have when they watch the film is, yeah, there's all these issues that happen, fumbles and things happen in a football game. But at the
Yeah.
end of the game, when you get a chance in a 2-minute situation, you line up and you got to execute. And what they did was have a delay a game, 10-second runoff. That is the worst way to start these 2-minute drives. You can't
Yep.
take a sack. You can't have penalties. And they didn't even have an opportunity to run a play.
A lot of very un-New England things happening to them the last couple weeks, including the
baffling.
fumble, the lateral. A couple things with the Bengals offense, man.
T. Higgins?
T. Higgins is he's just
He
so
won me fantasy
he's
this week.
probably my favorite it's my favorite quarterback receiver duo to watch
He's an alpha.
because he's just such a big fucking target. I love watching him catch a back shoulder fade. I love watching him stand next to Marcus Jones. He's 6'4". Marcus Jones is 5'8". The first drive, they get him involved right away. And one of the things that I thought they did really well is they took the checkdowns early. They just took what they were given until they put this game almost out of reach. In the second half, Burrow threw a couple picks in this game. There was late in the game, the zero blitz that I believe came down to communication with him and Jamar Chase. He's thrown to a spot there, and I think Chase is supposed to be there.
Didn't see what he
I
saw.
would give him the benefit of the doubt. And then there was also the pick in the high red, which, if they're up 15-0 at that point, I think if they drive the ball in, they got to feel pretty good about their chances. But Tyler Boyd kind of quit on the route, so I thought Burrow played a really clean game. I don't want to explain away all his picks, but this is a circumstance where I don't think those two were really on him. Boyd should have competed for that ball. I don't know what happened there. Another thing is this fucking guy, the child actor,
Yes.
Trenton Irwin,
Yes.
had a huge day. The first touchdown was a really weird McCourty angle. I don't know if he didn't see him or was just tracking the ball or what happened.
The rare bad McCourty angle.
Yeah, the 3rd and 4 that he caught early in that game was beautiful. I think it was cover 2 man, and he just thread the needle to this guy. And then the low red touchdown before the half was big. He had a touchdown late in the game, but it's just off his fingertips. That's the one ball that Joe Burrow is going to want back had they lost that game. But I think Joe Burrow just showing more and more why he's such a coveted piece under center. I mean, he just nails. I know
So
some
cool
people are like,
under
he threw
pressure.
2 picks, but the picks, in my opinion, again, were miscommunications and a wide receiver quitting on a route. They came to do what they had. They came to do a job, and they did it. They won a tough football game up in New England, and
So tough to win there.
They still have an opportunity at that 1 seed in the AFC. It's an outside chance, right? What would have to happen?
Well, they got to be Buffalo,
And they need the Chiefs to lose once.
Yeah.
which is why I think I don't know about that line. I think
It's
Cincy
tough.
beats Buffalo. I think Cincy beats Buffalo.
I think Cincy beats Buffalo as well.
I don't know. There's no need to jump the gun. We haven't given our picks yet, but give us a couple more lines here.
I got a kid. She's 1.
Yeah.
She's about to turn 2. But then I asked, "Hey, how old are you now?" And she still just holds up the one finger, which is a cool thing. And here in a couple weeks, that's not going to be doable anymore. At any rate, she's got a little kickball looking thing, and
Yeah.
she was walking around the house carrying it, and then she threw it. I was like, "Oh, Ramondre, huh?" Throwing the ball, and then she said, "Ramondre." She,
That's cute.
she's
Go
a little
Patriots.
kid.
That's cute. It's cute how your gambling's bleeding into your
She said on to
fathering.
Cincinnati.
Her first word will
Can I say something
parlay.
before Baltimore, Atlanta? We're about to get into our
Best
mentions.
of the rest.
Our
Miller Lite
mentions.
mentions.
Our Miller Lite mentions. Baltimore, Atlanta was like the medieval times bowl, dude. Those fucking uniforms, they look like a bunch of court jesters out there.
Yeah, that's
Baltimore's got the stupid fucking Maryland crest, and then Atlanta's running around out there in tights, looking like. Didn't it look like a medieval times situation?
And Arthur Smith looks like a dad who's fired up to be at medieval times.
Yes.
And then
That game sucked objectively, but I was entertained at how hideous the uniform matchup was.
1st and goal from the 4, Algier for 2, then Algier for 0, then Ritter for 1,
Yeah,
then
you were on
Algier
the
for
Falcons.
-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was no good.
Give us a couple
All right.
lines, then we'll get into the mentions.
NFC South rubber match. Panthers at Bucks.
Panthers at Bucks. Panthers playing better than the Bucks.
People are, but
And
yeah,
yet-
the Joe public is going to think.
Absolutely.
I think Panthers by 3. I think they're gonna try to hook people into betting the Panthers. And as I'm watching the Panthers destroy the Lions, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is a tailor-made situation. If the Bucks don't come out hot, for everybody to be on the Panthers.
What do you think, Mix?
Panthers at Bucks.
Yes, sir.
Did
No,
Chris-
Panthers 1.5.
I don't think you're giving Joe Public enough discredit. I bet it's Bucks 2.5.
Mix got it. Bucks -3.
Oh man, bet the Panthers. Bet the Panthers. I will be interested. I think probably a lot of the tickets are going to be on the Panthers, so I want to kind of keep track of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
Dude, they just
that defense, Tampa defense might complicate things.
Broncos at Chiefs. Chiefs have something to play for sure.
Oh man, Chiefs by 9.5.
Broncos don't know how to beat the Chiefs.
Chiefs by a Foles.
11.
Broncos at Chiefs. Chiefs do have stuff to play for, yeah.
Yeah.
Time of day, please.
1. Sunday.
11.
Language of origin.
Use in a sentence.
Well, the Chiefs just had whom?
Chiefs just had the Seahawks.
Seattle.
Chiefs just had Seattle, and that was 9.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the Chiefs have the Denver Broncos. Seattle was really. I'll go 11.
That's my number.
Chiefs by 13.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to bet the Broncos there.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
you dare.
Russ looks great.
Yeah. Well, he did. He looked good a couple weeks ago when he was playing the Chiefs.
Yep.
All right, one more. Colts at Giants.
Colts, Giants. Giants by
-7.
4.5.
Whoa.
Giants minus 6.5.
I think it will be the New York Giants favored by 4 points.
Yeah, it's Giants minus 3.
Okay. Bet the G, man.
Yikes, that's a little low.
They got a lot to play
Scary.
for.
I know.
Well, you know, fucking.
What do you think about tonight? Colts Chargers. That feels squirrely.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to go to see Avatar.
Look at you.
Like, I'm just
man.
going to ignore Monday Night Football.
You're going to be hydrating.
I don't know that I'm going to gamble on the game, although I'm up big the last couple weeks. I think this is a good one to sit out. I don't want to go into this pivotal week down because I bet Monday Night Football like an idiot.
You give me some of your money to invest,
Um,
and you get out
I've
of your
seen
movie.
how that's been going.
You get out of your movie,
Yeah.
and we'll see.
Yeah.
Either you have more money or I'm forever indebted.
You know the movie with Richard Gere where he just pisses away people's money.
Pretty Woman, yeah.
Yeah, there's one more recently about the financial crisis, I think, and he's Bertie Madoff. It's kind of what you remind me of right now.
No. Actually, I've been kind of hot.
You know, there's groups of people that are
I'm in a lane.
kind of mad about the Avatar movie.
Why?
The indigenous folks. They think that the story has been stolen.
And James
Every story's
Cameron
been
didn't have the
stolen,
best,
Kyle.
He had a couple words in the
Just
run
keep that in
up
mind
where
when
it
you go to the
wasn't-
movie.
but,
When he
you
was
know,
getting interviewed about it,
Yeah.
he sounded like an idiot.
Yeah.
I love this line of sight to you, Cowboy.
This is good.
It's right here, yeah. You're
Good.
looking
Okay.
good. How was your Christmas?
Mellow. Yeah,
Mellow?
Mellow.
Of course
You
it
have
was
a good one?
mellow.
Matt's
Yeah,
got one
pretty
more.
good.
All right,
Got over the flu, you know.
I sort of have
Right.
a question for you guys. So you got the Titans this weekend playing the Cowboys and the Jaguars playing the Texans. Neither one of them has anything to play for until the following week for the AFC South. So, like,
Is that
think-
true?
yeah, they
That's
claim-
interesting. Yeah, because it's going to come down to Week 18
Yeah.
no matter what,
the next game doesn't matter. So
Sit
will those
'em.
teams
which is
rest?
going to be a
Sit 'em.
great game.
Probably going to be
Yeah,
In
you know what?
prime
I don't want
I
to.
say
Bye
don't
week.
sit them.
bye week.
Let's
mean,
see.
Would you rather have nothing on the line in week, what are we, 17 now?
Well, we might get a half of football in.
I
or
want
would
it
you
all on
rather
the line
have
week 18.
Cincy,
you want to get
Buffalo?
you want to get half of football in.
So you're saying you'd rather no stakes as opposed to Cincy Buffalo, where you got to be all the way up
Oh.
in January.
I like being all the way up.
Oh, you
Same.
do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I
Bottom of
do.
the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded. Down
Every week
3.
though, week
I
in,
think
week out.
I
Okay.
think it sharpens the sword.
You're in the
Okay.
playoffs, so to speak.
You're in that mode when you go in. Okay, let's go mentions real quick.
Miller Lite mentions.
Mentions, huh?
So best flight. I'm going to give this flight to the Bengals on Christmas Eve. Getting home relatively early. They played in the 1 p.m. game. They escaped Foxborough. I don't. You could say the Packers, but
You
it's a long fucking way.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars, a little mini bye on Thursday night.
Mini bye.
Mini bye, and
They can fly to the Caribbean from there.
and now you're in first place with Houston beating Tennessee.
That was one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
Didn't watch it. Yeah.
I mean, bless you. It was terrible, dude.
The Houston game.
Is there any?
No, Jacksonville and the Jets. It was just.
Sorry, my bad. Watched every single snap. Yeah.
It was awful.
I was on that one.
It was awful.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen some bad. This was like I think that was the game. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, Jets fans, shots of Jets fans in the stadium was pretty much. I was living for that.
Yeah.
My best flight, it was Green Bay. When you play in Green Bay or Chicago or Minnesota, Detroit, you get an opportunity to play somewhere like Miami late in the year. What a great trip. The flight down there was probably awesome. The flight back, clearly awesome. It's not cold when you're waiting on the tarmac to get onto your
Coming
charter
around
plane.
on this, Kyle.
You get the warm
But you know what? When you get to Wisconsin, you're going to be nice and sauced up, lubricated, properly insulated with that Woodford that you have on there, and you'll be back home in Wisconsin with
Can't
a dub.
drink on the planes, Kyle.
Well, I bet you Aaron Rodgers does.
Worst flight, I'm going to go with the Raiders. Headwinds much? Think about that. You know, fuck, dude, that's a long flight. Game ended at 11:10 p.m. I'm about to take my melatonin and go to sleep. Derek Carr
Josh
throws
Jacobs is talking about he's not going to be in the team next year.
rough, dude, rough. Derek Carr throws 3 picks, all on in-breaking routes.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? You saw the same stat.
Yep.
Those inbreakers.
Oh man, well he's going to be on the plane a while, and they're just going to be flying into the wind, against the wind, like Bob Seger. They were in Bob Seger mode Saturday night.
Detroit Lions.
Fucking Christmas. And then they got to go back to Las Vegas for Christmas, looking at a bunch of cacti. That's not Christmas. Christmas in the desert.
Well, counterpoint. Bad Santa was set in Arizona. Mexico,
No
Arizona?
question. All I'm saying is it's not very Christmassy. You had to fly about 8 hours to get there.
I'm on my fucking lunch break.
And you've been eliminated essentially. I mean, they're basically out of it.
They could get lucky, but
That's
They
How lucky would they have to get?
They have to win both games, then have the Commanders lose both games, or the Giants lose both games.
Now the Commanders could lose both games.
Yeah,
Cleveland at home.
But it's the Giants they need to lose.
Yeah.
either one.
How could you drop me onto my own head? Bad Santa.
Next.
Detroit Lions, worst
The
flight.
fuck is up with
You're
you?
not going to be shitting right for a week.
Hey,
I don't know. Apache Junction.
Apache Junction.
The fucking Lions, just beat Sam Darnold, but Lions aren't that team yet. You can't just put it on cruise control and go win a NFL game.
Well, Dan Campbell was not on cruise control after the game.
No, that was an ass.
Dudes were not tackling. I'll tell you that much.
So that stinks. Now you've made things harder on yourselves.
Commanders.
It's a long flight.
Coming home across the country, also probably into some headwinds.
No. They get the tailwinds.
On tailwind, then they're
At least
getting
they
their
get
ass
to
whooped
get
on the
home
way
faster.
home too.
Nice save.
Christmas Eve, probably a really tired Christmas, which definitely sucks.
Yeah.
Carson
went straight into a tree stand. That guy kills more deer than any NFL quarterback in history. Hollow Man, I guess I could give it to Tua, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the high road, you fucks. I'm going to give it to the NFL social media team who tweeted out Franco's Italian Army during the game.
No.
Oh, yeah. There was a flag that was hanging up next to a 32. And see, flags are hard.
Kind of looks like an Italian
Flags
flag
are hard.
at first
Similar
glance.
colors, the whole thing.
Him and Mike Tirico, both Italian.
Franco's Army.
Hey, without even looking, I can tell you that the Mexican flag has something in the middle
Got
of
an
it.
eagle.
Yep.
Look, see? It's not good. It's just a big flag confusion
Flags
situation.
are hard.
Flags are hard.
You've always said it.
Franco's Italian Army with a Mexican
They
flag.
used to
with the-
drink wine at the stadium, and they would hide the wine in baguettes of bread, which is awesome.
Okay. Give me your Hollow Man. Hollow Man.
My hollow men are Zach Wilson and Tua Tagovailoa. Zach Wilson, I'm getting you a VR headset for Christmas, and you're going to be able to win football games on that.
Mm-hmm.
Tua,
Like the kid laying on his bed in the commercial that's like, I want to win games for the Dallas Cowboys, and then they slap the Oculus on
that's
his
Zach
face.
Wilson.
I'm glad you said men. Nick Folk, Ramondre Stevenson for obvious reasons.
Ramondre.
But hey, kickers are going to be a problem here in the playoffs. There are a lot of kickers, good kickers, who are struggling.
And there's a lot of kickers doing well too, but kicks aren't a gimme anymore.
The kickers who are doing well are on
A couple
teams
bad
that are
apples.
fairly irrelevant, it seems like. I mean, even your guy Tyler Bass in Buffalo struggling.
Yeah.
Harrison Butker struggling.
Butker's had a rough go at it.
Yeah. Watch out.
That's a reason to like the Bengals, actually. McPherson's solid.
Yep.
McPherson has not been solid. Another good one. to mention.
McPherson had a bad year last year. I feel like I can't get the Packers game out of my head.
I feel like he was MVP last year. He didn't he? Am I crazy?
It might just be because I was watching the Giants Vikings games, and those guys
Yeah.
were just fucking launch codes.
Does he suck this year, McPherson?
He missed the extra point, the first touchdown against the Pats. And they
Okay,
had to
well,
go
it
for-
was fucking freezing this weekend. Let's not be overreactive.
It was cold, Macon.
You know, all these guys are kicking frozen solid leather
Bricks.
balls.
Thank God for Ryan Suckup, man.
Suck Up was great last night
That was going to be a rough
for the
night.
family.
gonna be a rough
you got a STL Memorial?
Oh, I got a viewing party, Kyle.
That's good.
The guy who got yelled at in Las Vegas signed me up for getting yelled at in Las Vegas.
I got a
Go
box
sit with
for you.
Robert Kraft. That
Yeah.
was incredible. Guy's first football game, some woman gives him RSV to the face, just screaming 6 inches from his face. And Robert Kraft finds him and sits him in his box with him.
Yeah.
It was incredible. What do you think him and Robert?
Well,
what do you
that's the
think him and
thing.
RKK talked about?
I thought the video was really cool, the inception of this whole thing, because the guy was just like, I'm just here to watch a game. Like,
Yeah.
Why are you screaming at me?
Yeah, that was
Shout
cool.
out to that guy.
Yeah, shout out.
Jerry Edmond.
Picture
Jerry
of
Edmond.
patience.
Yeah.
Small talk with RKK. You would probably know better than us.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit.
I feel like he's a
Yeah.
good small talk guy.
He's a good small talker.
Yeah.
I like RKK.
Yeah. I don't
He's
not.
a good man.
I love RKK.
Yeah.
Robbie.
I just don't know if he's gonna.
Bro, if he can make small talk, he makes
you
small
halfway
talk
in the
with
small
Meek
talk.
Mill. He can make small talk with Bill Belichick. He's got range on the small talk.
I guess what I don't
Ross.
like is the small talk. Maybe
Yeah, I don't
if,
like small talk
maybe
either.
if he goes deeper. Maybe he
Yeah.
was going
Give
deeper.
me an example of small talk.
You see his weather?
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, man. I remember
Merry
back
Christmas.
back in '96. I was also cold. You
Yeah.
should have seen it. There was a game and it was cold.
STL Memorial. Give it out, Kyle.
Well, I got to do my viewing party.
Sure.
It would be Jerry's World. Always seems like a really fun place to be. I loved playing
I
there.
hate that stadium.
Because it's like a fucking circus. You feel like some places are cathedrals to football, like U.S. Bank, like Jerry's World, like the Hard Rock, these new bright light places. It would have been a cool place to watch that game.
It's a total recall ass stadium. You feel like if the glass breaks, we
I really wish that Gardner Minshew would have done it.
Oh, yeah. That would have been nice.
Viewing party, Jerry's World.
Okay. That's a good one. Kyle wants to go to Dallas.
I want to be a party of that Brady Leftwich Microsoft Surface party on the
yeah.
bench. Just what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm. I've tried to read their lips like hard all year. It's really we need a lip reader.
And Brady will
too much
walk
silicone
over-
in that face to
Oh,
be able to
Kyle.
read lips.
Brady will walk over to that poor Hainsey and then just walk away saying "motherfucker" every time.
God damn it.
Yeah. What the fuck are we doing?
Okay. Any other mentions, guys?
Yeah,
Hell
I've-
yeah,
I've got a
dude.
fly on the wall. I would have loved to have been one of the extra O linemen during the following the Broncos sideline debacle, the
Yes.
scuffle. And Risner, he was screaming at the quarterback and then
Rippin'.
ripping. And then the next time they come back for commercial, Risner is getting talked to like
Through a
solaced
football.
by Russell Wilson.
Through a football.
Through a
You know how the
football.
NBA guys cover their mouths when they're like,
And Risner
no one
gave
can
him
hear
a-
us talk about free agency
Risner
and all
was like,
these.
"I'm sorry."
Yeah, but like Russell, like no one cares, man. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, you don't need to put the football up to your face
So
like
that
a
would have been my
harmonica.
fly on the wall.
Yeah. Fly in the wall. I've already mentioned all these. I want to be on the other side of that Todd Bowles headset.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because it's not advancing your team's cause. Game ball, CeeDee Lamb. 10
Game ball,
catches,
Dak Prescott.
11. There we go.
Yeah.
Same garage.
Game ball, T.J. Hawkinson.
That's a good call. I like that. Frank Gore, St. Louis Memorial.
Man, you know,
Zach Tom, left tackle, Green Bay Packers, in for David.
yeah, number
Bakhtiari.
50, bro. He's out
What
there
a
at number
fucking
50.
stud
Yeah.
out there balling.
Yeah.
There's a player I really like. His name's Jamin Davis. He's a linebacker for
backer.
Washington.
Jamon!
52.
Oh, Jahan Dotson could get this too. Jahan Dotson is an incredible player.
Yeah, goes up and gets it.
They've got something in the future there.
I got you somebody else who goes up and gets it, who's a rookie. Drake London.
Drake London, yeah. Nobody's watching, but he does.
They only put it up in the air a few times a game, but he's
in the
really
Medieval
good.
Times Bowl.
Weirdly, I don't know if it's weirdly since they're all taken in the freaking first round. Those receivers are all really good. Olave, Garrett Wilson, Drake London.
Would Baker Mayfield qualify for the St. Louis Memorial Award?
Sure, he's balling in obscurity.
Yeah.
24-28.
I mean, everybody was watching, but they weren't really watching. Like, that was the biggest background noise game of all time. I guarantee you a bunch of TVs were still on it, and they probably got the ratings
I was
for it.
rocking the baby. Like, I was like, I'm going to be doing this and this and this. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to see the, but luckily it was a blowout.
It was just noise. Mikey, we were playing Nintendo Switch. I could hear the game in the
Lucky.
back.
Second mention, I got this little daughter, right?
Yeah.
And she's saying beep, 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 which means she wants to put wheels on the bus on the TV. And I told her that I had to keep watching football for work, 51-14. Even she was like, it's fucking 51-14.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Russell
numbers.
Wilson is out there.
Yeah, well, my wife was kind of walking around the couch yesterday as the Rams went up like 41-14. It became like one of those things where like, do you really have to watch this for your job?
That's tough on dads.
This seems like gratuitous. No, it was tough on the family that I wasn't paying attention to my family on Christmas in lieu of that game.
I know, but Cowboy Reed, like your Broncos, can you hold them under like 40, under 50?
Just so we can look busy.
Yeah.
Just about every other game we could have, but Baker.
I had a notepad out there, for
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
All right. Any games we didn't mention? Houston, Tennessee. Good for Lovie Smith.
Houston, Tennessee, Davis Mills, great job.
Did y'all? Hey, is Malik Willis showing any signs?
I
didn't
didn't like to see Malik Willis. To me, it looked like a Hodge, like they drew up the offense in the dirt right before he went on the field every single time. It didn't look to be very good.
Didn't
Ryan
look great.
Tannehill, MVP.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, you're looking for a team that looks worse with the other quarterback.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's everything, guys.
Hopefully nobody watched that awful Saints-Browns game.
Oh, Saints-Browns, I did because I had the under.
Oh, that's good then.
I had the under.
Gloved
I
up
was,
Andy Dalton.
Oh, I was sitting there just like, I was cold watching that game,
I
man.
too had the under because of you.
Yeah, well, it was good. It was a good play. You know, got a little hairy at the end there.
Does it get
Yep.
more cold weather team and dome team than Saints and Browns?
Oh, man. I don't know, but I feel like when Drew Brees retired, they kind of shed the dome team reputation. Now they just have Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
So they're always out of it and always in it.
My one word is Vegas. This was one where there were like 10% of the bets on the Saints and
Yeah.
like 80% of the money.
Yeah.
Saints win.
Yeah, and that seemed to make sense to me.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good, guys. Anything else from
Patrick solidifying MVP?
Yep. That's good. We talked about that. Yeah,
that's
good.
like closing thought.
Well, Tana Thrill just entered the conversation.
And Puss in Boots is scary. One more reminder. Scary as fuck. I was in there scared. There's a wolf. He's got swords. He whistles. It's really terrifying. Jack Horner's terrifying.
Does he get the extra wish at the end? The last wish?
No spoilers, Reed, but he decides that it's more important to live this life, you know, and he needs to fucking relax and maybe hang it up. He finds love. There's another cat. There's another cat that he left at the altar.
I just don't like cats.
Me neither. But
Hey, Puss in Boots, more like shaking in your boots, sounds like.
yeah, he went out sad.
Oh, Olivia Colman's in that. Oh,
Yep.
and John Mulaney.
Antonio Banderas is
Harvey
Puss
Guillen.
in Boots.
Wow.
Okay.
I'd love to do voices in
All right.
animated.
Take care, everybody.
Take them
GG's. Happy
seeds
New
out of
Year.
your...
Yeah,
I
Happy
said it
New
first.
Year.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.